Good morning, friends. Good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday. Not really running behind, but not necessarily as... There's Sammy.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay. Oh, okay. Getting a little squished there. Thank you, sweetie. Have fun. Be careful, please.
I will.
Okay. Anyhow, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. So, I'm ready. Just, like, down to the wire. Oh, that's how it always is, right? Lots of preparing yesterday, and then we went out with some neighbors last night to an outdoor, like, food truck kind of thing, and then went over to their house, and I came home and was late, and I went to bed and woke up this morning early, but you know, sometimes Saturday morning, you're just kind of relaxing, and so then I'm like, oh, there's still some more things I need to do to be ready. Yeah. Anyhow, so it's all good. Welcome to our weekly Saturday session. My name is Lael Kankar, and I have a business called Lael by Mail. I do all kinds of things, scrapbook project kits, traveler's notebook kits, and then I sell all of the things that go with them. Traveler's notebooks and stickers and washi and all the fun things that we like to play with when we are crafting and when we are working on our projects every Saturday like we are today. So welcome. In the description of the video down below, I've included a lot of links. So links to my website, links to social media, and then links to quite a few of the products that I use. The products, kind of the generic tools that I use kind of on a weekly basis when we're doing these sessions, but then also specific products that I will be using as we are working along. So you can often find those on my website, and if I don't carry them on my website, then I have affiliate links to where you can find those products if you would like to support me. One way that you can support me, even if you're here watching every week, is just thumbs up. So if you would kindly remember to give the video a thumbs up, that is a huge help. The way that the algorithm universe works, the more people that like the video and see the video, the more that YouTube likes to suggest that to other people, which is good for all of us. So if you would please give it a thumbs up. If you are watching live and you are familiar with the chat, welcome. We always have lots of chatters. If you're not familiar with what that is, if you are watching live, there is a chat going over in the right-hand side of your screen. So you can comment and pop in and chat. Once we get going, then I have a chance as I'm working to kind of pay attention and see what's going on in the chat. So if you have questions as the video is live, please go ahead and leave them in the chat. And if I miss it, don't be afraid to say it again, or if one of you are watching and you didn't leave the comment, but you noticed that I missed that and you would like to just copy and paste that or ask it again, that would be great. Sometimes I catch them, sometimes I don't. So if I miss your question or comment after the video is done live, then it's always available on a replay. So for those of you that are watching on the replay, welcome, welcome. If you would leave me a comment in on the video and just let me know what your name and where you're from. I always like to hear and see kind of what people are doing. If you want to share anything about your crafting habits, whether you're a scrapbooker or traveler's notebook lover or planner or card maker, whatever it is. So when we get together every Saturday, the first probably, oh my gosh, I don't know, maybe 18, 16, whatever it is, sessions that we were doing were more class oriented. So I would be taking a topic about traveler's notebooks, and I would be kind of teaching about that particular topic. And then we kind of, me and Sam, and then sometimes Nick, sometimes our cat Poe, sometimes my mom, sometimes my dad, sometimes our son Jack, sometimes my sister, sometimes all the friends. And of course our little friend Scatter the squirrel. We took a little bit of a change in direction and started and I can't even really call these classes, but every other Saturday now we alternate. So one Saturday we list together. So I provide listing prompts and we just kind of list. Some of you work on the same lists as I do. Others of you just hang out and chit chat and have fun. You may be crafting on something else or just taking the opportunity to kind of relax. So that is every other week, and then the every other week from the other week is what we're doing today, and that is memory keeping in a traveler's notebook. So as we are going, a few things I always like to point out. This is personal crafting time for me, which I love so much because it gives me a time to get some of my craft projects done that I would love to get done. And so you guys are just kind of along with me for the ride. From my perspective, it's like we're all in one big giant room. If we could be, which we can't be right now, but maybe one day. We're all in one big giant room and we're all just together. And we're all a bunch of friends and we're chit-chatting and laughing and talking about all kinds of different things under the sun. Working, sometimes we get sidetracked. And that's what would happen if we were all together in a big room. So just kind of keep that in mind. These are very loose videos, very fluid. So I will talk about different tips or different reasons about why I pick the products I do or why I put something in one place versus another and why things work for me. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Last thing before we get started, this is super, super important. Everything that I do is based on my style. I do me. And I always encourage you to do you. So you do you. I always get all kinds of questions after these sessions. Is it okay if I do this? Or I'm not sure if I can do this. And I always say, you know what? You do you. You do whatever you want to do that works for you. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to flip the camera. We may or may not use lights. As we get a little bit later in the summer, the sun is kind of moving in different directions at different times of day. So our lighting may be okay. I prefer natural light over the bright studio lights because the bright studio lights are also very toasty, especially if you're an individual female like me that is kind of in that certain time of life where you always have your own personal summer going on. So having your own personal summer going on with two big heat lamps basically for the studio lights is, you know where I'm headed. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera. Pasty white arm. We always love that shot. All right, here we go. Now I am going to just bring us up really quickly on my iPad so that I can see your comments and I can see what I'm doing because right now things could be a little crooked. So, oh yes, that reminds me. I need to put a weight. Hang on. I need to put some kind of weight on the back side of my camera stand there. If I don't do that, we'll all be going for a ride when the camera stand decides to fall forward, and that is not a good thing. Okay, hang tight. We may or may not need that trimmer. If we need that trimmer, I will grab it. Okay, let's see what we are looking at. Okay, a little bit crooked and a little bit. Okay, move this way over and let's see what that does for us. Right? Better. Okay, I think we are. Let's make sure we can see my hands. We're good. All right, friends. Yes, I think we might be able to do without the lights today. Yay! Let me just move this one out of the way. Excuse the noise. That first one that I just moved tends to block the light coming in from the window. So I think we are good. All right, let's see who we have. Lots of folks. And if you have never joined in the chat, don't be afraid. If you want to chat, there are tons and tons and tons of lovely ladies that are always piping up in the chat. So Sarah and Kathy. Kathy, you're on vacation. Good for you. Francesca and Robin from Nebraska. Francesca again. All right, guys. So, and there's Karen, one of the many Karens that we always have. Oh, there's two Karens, Karen C and Karen Haynes. We always get a good little chuckle about the Karens, right? The poor Karens with the memes about the Karen. I know all the Karens here are not like that. Oh, Francesca, you're from Dubai. Wonderful. It's your evening. Your granddaughter arrived this week. Oh, Kathy, that is so fun. How special that must be. Nora Jean from Kansas. You're new. Well, Nora Jean, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Iowa. Yes, personal summer. Shirley. Hi, Shirley. Shirley Winslow, Shirley? Not sure. You have to tell me if that's, because I can't really tell by your YouTube name, Squeak. All right, friends, so let's go ahead and get started. I am planning on, you're waiting for a song about you. So I am planning on 3 different spreads, I guess, today. And we'll see how that goes. I had planned 4, but then I don't think the 4th is going to happen. I think the 4th may end up week after next, but that's all good. All right, so Mariana, you're back from your 2-week vacation that turned 6 months. Yes, you're 6 months in Mexico. So jealous. You know how jealous I am of you. All right. Yes, Shirley. Oh, Shirley. Okay, other Shirley. Also Shirley, California. This is just Shirley Sutton is Northern California Shirley instead of Shirley Winslow, Southern California Shirley. All right, friends. Okay, so with our spreads today, the first one, I have to look at my cheat sheet. The first one is going in, so I have, as you guys know, I have lots of different traveler's notebooks going. I use a lot, probably 5 or 6 or 7, or add a 1 in front of any of those at any given time. And that's because I use them for different things, and I don't always carry them around with me. Oh, Sam. Okay, you're being distracting, sweetie. I know some of you are like, we miss Sam. We miss Sam and his distractions. Sweetie, don't shut the door. It'll get way too hot, please. I will die.
I know. I will open them before I leave.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I will die. Please don't. And oh, there you go, Shelly. An aught light with a fan in it. That sounds like a good thing. All right, you guys. Sorry for the little distraction there. We love to have Sam, but sometimes clearly I get distracted when Sam is joining us. All right, so I was saying I have many different traveler's notebooks going at any given time. And that is, to me, perfectly normal, right? I do me, you do you. Some people think it would be crazy that I'd have 7 or 8 or 17 or 18 different traveler's notebooks. And when I say different traveler's notebooks, I don't mean the inserts. I mean all of the outside covers. So I have some where I am keeping track of inspirational quotes. I have some where I'm doing a habit tracker. I have some where I am doing memory keeping like we are here. I have some where I am doing kind of the one that I use most often is the one that has my kind of to-do lists in it, my weekly calendar, my monthly calendar, project lists, social media calendar, different things like that. And then one for listing, and then one for the coronavirus. So as I have been moving back and forth between all of those, I've been working when it comes to memory keeping in my coronavirus traveler's notebook. And then also there are things that I've done that don't necessarily fit in the coronavirus traveler's notebook. Like a couple weeks ago, I did a spread about Taylor Swift's new album because I loved it, but that didn't really fit in my traveler's notebook for the coronavirus, even though it kind of happened and then part of the story of how she released it kind of has to do with the coronavirus. However, so I have a number of spreads or entries, if you will, that really don't have a home. And so I started thinking, well, they don't have a home, so I probably need to have an insert that is just for kind of generic things that I want to just kind of do. I just feel inspired to create, and I want to add a couple photos. And so those would go in kind of a generic traveler's notebook. They may or may not be chronological. So Sean, I am absolutely okay with doing events in pages out of order. Absolutely. In fact, I am still working on I have 3 coronavirus traveler's notebooks going right now with just about ready to start a 4th one. So you'll see what happens. I'll be working along and I'll be like, oh, not quite done there. Or this one is almost, this is the second one there. I'll have something like this where I'm like, ooh, you know what? I'm really inspired by a photo I took, or I'm really inspired about something that happened on the news that I want to capture. So I'll just skip. But when I skip, I'll do something like this. I will add little sticky notes. So I remember what I think that I wanted to put there. So I am definitely a non-chronological scrapbooker or memory keeper. Nothing wrong with that. There's also nothing wrong if you feel like you need to do it chronologically, but it's usually photos and product that are inspiring me to create, as opposed to, oh my gosh, I still haven't done the 27th of, that would be April. I haven't done the 27th of April. What I found is if I do kind of try to force myself to scrapbook or memory keep chronologically, the problem in doing that is if I'm not inspired to do this right here, sometimes it completely stops me. Like I won't keep going because I'm not inspired by this. So for me, if I'm not inspired by this or I'm kind of not quite sure what I want to do, I just keep going and then I keep working on things that maybe do inspire me. So hopefully that helps. All right, so the first one that I am going to do is actually, this one goes in, hang on, now I've got them all over. That's one of the things that happens is how do you remember where you are or which one that you are working in? All right, this one, this is what I am starting for my generic, just kind of memory keeping, not having to do with coronavirus, not having to do with travel. I also have a couple of other ones that I'm doing for travel. Anyhow, so I'm starting with this one here. And I have been walking a lot. I used to run. I used to do CrossFit for a long, long time. And then age and injuries, really both with running and with CrossFit, kind of put the kibosh on both of those. So now I walk or I hike. When I feel like it's okay to go back to the gym, I will go back to the gym. Gyms are open here in Utah, but I don't know. That just is not on my radar right now. Anyhow, so you guys can tell I'm very much squirreling today. So I walk a lot. And when I am walking, I'm either walking by myself in the morning, so it's okay, or walking with Nick, my husband. And if I'm walking by myself, I have my phone. And if I'm walking with Nick, I will have his phone generally, because then I don't have to carry a phone. So I'll take pictures. And I take pictures of all different kinds of things. I take pictures of the flowers that I see. Sometimes I'll take pictures of houses if I like them, although that you have to kind of be careful with, because then you might look a little bit stalkerish, right? Anyhow, I like to take pictures. Generally, when it's in the morning, I'm catching the sun rising up over one of the mountains. And so this is a hill. And I kind of, when I took this photo, got down low to the ground. No, I didn't lay on the ground. Not that there's anything wrong with laying on the ground. But I kind of got down low to the ground and took the photo angled up. So you can a little bit kind of see the hill here. Now, what's kind of fun about doing a different perspective like this is I have all of this space down here. So if I wanted to write on the photo, I could write on the photo, and we will talk about that in a second. If I wanted to add stickers or letter stickers or something like that, I could have that space in the photo. You'll also see that same type of space up here. I have a lot of what you call white space, right? Even though it's not white, but I have a lot of this kind of blank space up here that I could write or add something to, and a lot of blank space down here. So sometimes it's kind of fun to take a photo like that, even though really, this is really the main part of the photo right here, right? So this is really the photo. But all of this gives me a different perspective, and it just kind of gives it a little bit of a different feel, and it gives me a little bit more room to work with. When we are done, I will link to Kathy Zilski did a quick YouTube video on how to print a larger photo like this. This is 5 by 8.25, which is the width of my Traveler's Notebook insert, my standard wide. How to print one of these using an Epson PictureMate 400. So the Epson PictureMate 400 is the printer that I use almost exclusively. I have a large, I think it's a 13 by 19 large format Canon printer, but this little guy is definitely the one I use most often and workhorse. So I will link to that video because it's kind of cool how you can do something like this out of that little printer that normally prints 5 by 7s or 4 by 6s or 3.5 by 5. So I will link to that when we are done. All right, so here's my photo. I have quite a few times as we've done these different sessions used products from a company called In a Creative Bubble. And Geraldine is the lady that owns that company, and her style just speaks to me like nobody's business. So it's very clean, lots of black and white. Now she also does lots of color. Let me grab this really quick. She also does lots of color. This is kind of my coronavirus file. where I am keeping lots of these things. So you'll see, like there is one of hers that is color. So lots of color mixed with lots of black and white. Anyhow, these are printables. So you can just purchase them from her website and then print them. You can, if you have a printer at home. I just print this. I use a laser printer copier machine for my business, and I just use some regular white cardstock that I print on. But you can also, if you don't have something like that, upload them, send them to Kinko's or Office Max or something like that. Anyhow, I use these of hers all of the time, and I definitely encourage you to, if you're looking for something like this, support her business because I think she's awesome, and I love her artwork, and I'm sure she's a very nice person. We've chatted a few times online, but I've never met her. Anyhow, I've linked to that, and that is in a creative bubble. So today I'll be using a couple of those different printables again. The nice thing too, when you are purchasing a printable, is you purchase once and then you can download them and print them as many times as you would like. So that is this one, Today's Walk. And these are specific traveler's notebook printables so that they are sized for traveler's notebooks. I mean, you could use them for other things as well, but I like them because they are sized for traveler's notebooks. All right, so I have printed that one out and cut it down. Let's see, Sheila, welcome Sheila. Print on the spot or print ahead of time. So both. I print on the spot. When I say I print on the spot, I printed this one yesterday. So that would be kind of on the spot / ahead of time for me. But I print on demand. So I don't print a whole bunch of things and then just have the photos ready to go. I usually print the day before, the morning of when I want to use something. Let's see. Okay. All right. This is going to go on the right side, and my card here with the journaling is going to go on the left. I am planning on using a lot of color on this spread. So sometimes I will incorporate a piece of pattern paper right here first, especially if I have a lot of white going on. But in this case, I'm not going to. I'm going to leave that white on white because, like I said, I'm going to add a lot of color. Francesca, I will link to a video in the description of this video when we're done. And a designer in the industry by the name of Kathy Zilski has a quick tutorial on how to do that if you are using that Epson printer. Hi, Debbie. Good morning. Okay, so Today's Walk. Let me grab my adhesive. The other thing I've been doing on this walk, there's a lot of hills, which is good for the heart. Oh boy. All right. Just ran out of my adhesive. Hang tight. Let me grab a refill for that. Hopefully I have one right here. Hate it when that happens. All right. I will use, let's see, I better grab a couple just in case, not knowing where any of these are. These are some little portable ones, so hopefully one of these will work for us. All right, note to self, check adhesive refill next time to make sure you're not going to run out. Gosh, now what was I saying? I don't even remember. All right, so here we go. That will go there. Uh-oh. I just, in my haste there, a little bit of adhesive went beyond the, okay, hang on, I just have to fix that or else the pages will stick together when I turn the page. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's that side. And then I am going to, so I printed I didn't print a white border, but I trimmed it with the white border still on there. But I think I need to go in and trim that border off because I want to round the corner. And if I round the corner of this photo, well, I'll just round it and then I'll trim it off. But you'll see it's going to look kind of odd if I round that with that white border. See how yeah, that doesn't look good, right? So I'm going to go in, let me grab my trimmer here. And most of the time lately, I round corners in my traveler's notebook inserts because the corners of the inserts that I use, the paper, those are rounded. And so I will kind of match that round. So let's go in, and now this is going to be a little bit off, but that's okay. All right, so we will now go ahead and add our, add our adhesive to that. Let me just grab my little garbage can. All right, adhesive over here. Sometimes, generally, well, when I'm crafting at home, I'll use a big tape runner like that. When I am on the road or on the go, I'll make sure I always have a couple of these little guys because it's a lot easier to pack little guys than a big one. Where do you buy? So, Francesca, I have a lot of washi tape on my website. That is where, that's where I buy it. I buy it for myself. And I use, a number of different brands. So that is where I buy it. All right. So there is today's walk. Now, I know I'm going to do this first because I wrote this down. I made sure to double check ahead of time. This was August 13th. So I have my handy dandy roller date stamp that you guys see me use on everything. This I have linked as well. This is in my shop on my website. Oh, guess what I forgot to grab? I forgot the ink. Well, I have colored ink, but I forgot to grab the black ink. So let me, I know. I've been organizing. I've been trying to get to the point where I can start doing some videos to show you guys how I'm storing things because I've had lots of requests about that. Oopsie. So, ink. My ink was in another spot. All right, so here we go. Now, I always encourage a test stamp first, right? To make sure that you have moved the numbers or the stamp to what you wanted it to. So that's good. 08/13/20. That is the date that I want to put there. And I also do that just to make sure I get nice, even coverage. But that's really important if you have a brand new stamp that you want to make sure. And you can see that okay. You want to make sure to prime that stamp before you actually stamp on whatever it is that you want to stamp on permanently. All right, so let's move that off to the side, move this off to the side. All right, location. This would be, I guess this is just kind of the neighborhood, right? So, well, it's kind of the neighborhood next to ours, but that's okay. I mean, who's really keeping track? Okay, so I've pulled out a couple of different stickers. These are stickers from the Avenue collection. I have linked to the Avenue collection on my website in the description down below. So there are quite a few products that I carry from this collection, and they go in and out of stock, you guys, pretty frequently on my website. I bring them in and then they sell pretty quickly and then I bring them in again. So if you've been trying to grab something and you haven't been able to grab it, make sure when you're looking at my website, there is a little, if something is sold out, there's a little box that says, email me when available or something like that. So just click that and then you'll receive a notification when products are back in stock again. So I think, and I know here's the thing. This isn't really a walk. I mean, this is a walk, right? The walk printout, Terry, this came from In a Creative Bubble, and I have linked to that in the description of the video. It's one of the printables. And I do print my own photos, yes. I use the Epson PictureMate, and I have linked to that in the description of the video. So you know what, today's walk, that may be in, I'll have to look. You guys, I have so many of these that I didn't link to the specific one. Geraldine did one that was related to the coronavirus. And I think there were 10 or 12 or 20 different printables in that particular download. And so it may be from that. Let me just make a quick note here. Okay, so I need to link to today's walk. All right, and then I was going to link to something else, you guys. Oh, I know, Kathy Z's video. No. Print TN pics. Okay. All right. Okay, so here we go. So anyhow, the stickers. So this is a walk, right? I know this is a walk, but a lot of times I don't get too tied up into, you know, if it's a walk, I can only use a walking sticker. I like this sticker. I think this little moped sticker is so cute. This little gal on a moped. So this is a nice spot. This could go potentially right here-ish, maybe here-ish. Actually, not here for now. I think I may put it here, but I also know that I want to add a couple of washies, right? So the washi, maybe this guy, this is from the Avenue washi with all of these little houses. So let's take a look at that and see if maybe that would be cute. I don't know, it's pretty cute. I think I'm going to use that. And I think I will put it right here, but I also want it to just a little bit go onto that photo because that's kind of fun. All right, Avenue, that's part of the Avenue washi set linked on my website. All right, so we still have this, but we need some more color. So I have brought in 2 brand new different types of washi. I've been starting to add washi from Doodlebug onto my website. So you may have seen that I've been adding quite a few of those. But these 2 stacks, you guys, so these are stacks. There are 12 different, hi Debbie, there are 12 different washis in each of these set in 12 different colors. So the one on the left, this is, these are little scallops. This is scallop washi. So if we looked at this, and I won't use this here because it'd be a lot of black and white, but we'll just kind of take a look at it here. Okay, will you please open the doors? Thank you, sweetie. Hi. All right, so here we go. So that is the washi, and what's kind of cool about it is when you look at the washi, it's not scalloped, but the little kind of white part that you see right there is transparent. So when you put it down on something, then it looks like your washi is scalloped, right? So super fun, and all of those colors. But the other one that I think I will use on here, very similar but different. The same 12 colors. This one, I've had the scallop one for a while, but this little guy just came in yesterday, so I haven't had the stripe, but this is a stripe. So I'm kind of excited to look at this because you guys know how I'm always looking for different stripes. Okay, bye, sweetie.
Love you, Mom.
Love you too. Bye. Okay. Let me get the tape off. Okay. So let's look at, if I'm still thinking about this sticker, clearly I shouldn't have pulled that off yet because I'm trying to do all this work with that sticker on my finger, which is kind of dangerous. So let's see. I don't know, maybe. Just want to grab one of these. Oh, they're all hooked together. Each of these has 12 yards of washi. So you end up with 144 yards of washi in that beautiful rainbow. Oh, I don't know, maybe the pink. Let's look. Let's see what this looks like. We'll just do that again over here. The other thing I like about both of these stacks is that they are smaller, right? So they are thin. And sometimes it's fun to pair a thin with a thick. So just kind of a tone-on-tone pink with a really subtle stripe in there. Uh-oh, Shelly, I missed what your autocorrect was. Yes, Mandy. So, Doodlebug, you guys, I'm just trying to bring Doodlebug products in. I added some new inserts yesterday, and I have some of their traveler's notebooks that I'm just waiting for photos to be able to add. But they have I think like 12, maybe 12 standard colors, and then they add more in as they go. depending on what collection they're doing. But those standard colors they use throughout all of their collections. So if you buy, washi like this, then you'll always have washi that coordinate with all their collections, which is kind of fun. They're smart in the way that they do that. Definitely smart the way they approach it. But also what's fun, you guys, they're in Salt Lake too. So they're about 20 minutes from my house. So a couple Fridays ago, I don't know, I think I went and spent 3 hours shopping in their showroom and chit-chatting with everybody. And they're an awesome bunch of people. Okay, so maybe this, but maybe, so this is another one. This is called calendar. Oh, I can't remember. Some kind of calendar. But you guys know me. I'm a sucker for a calendar. It gets kind of hard to find fun calendar things. But it's not really calendar. It just has these fun days of the week on it. Look at that. Uh-oh. Hang on. So let me do this. Let me put this one right here. And then we can kind of look at that. But different colors. Different days of the week, right? Isn't that fun? And all the colors match with those colors. So maybe, I don't know, let's see. Let me just see what I hate it when that happens. Oh, all right. So I wanted to see what the August, kind of July, August, September, kind of that one looked like. No. I won't do that on this one. I'll just use that. I know I'll use that somewhere, but not on this one. All right, so let's see what else I want to add with this. I think I'm going to add maybe that guy, or I don't know. Sometimes indecisiveness, you guys, right? And then if we were all together, I'd say, what do you think? Well, I could say, what do you think? But the hard thing is then all of a sudden I say, what do you think? So Elizabeth, I haven't seen one that has months. I'll have to ask them. I'll have to ask them if they have one that has months in addition to days of the week. So it might be kind of fun to have a little scallop here. Maybe we'll do a scallop. So let's see if we use the sticker again. A yellow. You guys know me and my yellow, right? I always gravitate to the yellow. Oh, I know. Let's try this. Maybe these could go right below the house. The scallops down like that. Okay, so in order to do that, sometimes lots of trial and error, you guys. Other than planning out photo and planning out like a rough idea of products I think I want to use on a spread, I don't plan anything else out after that. So I haven't like pre-designed this. That's why things don't necessarily go fast when we do these, because I have not figured out ahead of time exactly how I want to design things, which I don't know. I guess I could do it both ways. You guys would have to tell me if this process definitely makes the videos longer, right? Let me put that up there. It definitely makes the videos longer when I do this, when I'm just kind of thinking out loud and playing. So let me know what you think in the comments, or in the, both in the comments. If you're watching the replay, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you are chatting, let me know what you think. If you would rather see me do this, kind of go back and forth and figure out what I want to use, or if you would rather kind of have me have things already pre-designed and then I am just, basically putting it together. Yeah, I think I like that. I think that works. All right, so fun little scallops for sure, and little stripes. So let's just move those off to the side so I'm not trying to get those put away. All right, so where's our little gal? Oh, I put her up here. Hear my thought process. Okay, Chris. All right, so then I think, yeah, that's kind of funny. I think I'm going to take these flowers off. Those flowers are kind of bugging me. They are kind of bugging me. It looks like it's, okay, I shouldn't even say this. It looks like it's farting flowers. The moped is farting flowers. So we're just going to cut those off. And you guys, that's a good example. If you see something on a sticker that you don't particularly like, cut it off, right? I could use that for something else. Or I could just decide, yeah, I don't really like that, and then not use it at all. But I will then just come right back here and put that little sticker back on, because I might want to use that for something else another time. All right, so there we go. then that will just go right here. And I am actually going to have that, it's hanging off the side of the page. And that to me, I know, Terry, scooter with the walking page. You probably missed when I said that. I like the sticker. I like the sticker. So even though it's a scooter on a walking page, it's going on there. All right, so I cut that off, and sometimes it's kind of fun to do because it adds a little bit of movement, right? Having something that is off the side of the page adds movement, right? So it kind of reinforces the whole walk or riding or driving or whatever. Now, I don't ever drive a scooter. Motorcycles scare me. Electronic, that's not electronic. I don't know, whatever something like that is. I don't know, whatever. Things like that with two wheels scare me. Even a bike sometimes scares me. When I was a little kid, we lived in Japan for 3 years. My dad was in the Navy and he was a fighter pilot. Well, I guess these days it's naval aviator is what they like it to be called. So he was a naval aviator, and I was 4, 5, and 6 when we were there. And my parents were headed out to a really fancy Navy function. And my dad was going to get the babysitter. And he came driving in, and we lived on base, so in base housing. And I was driving around on my bike in the parking lot. And there were older kids that were always driving around in the parking lot without, they didn't have their hands on the handlebars. And I thought, oh, I'm going to try that. So the wrong time to try something like that is when your parents are dressed up very fancily to go to a very important fancy naval function. And so I tried that, and I crashed into a phone pole. I'm turning the lights on because it's just getting a little shadowy. Crashed into a phone pole, knocked my 2 front teeth out, just as my dad is pulling in with the babysitter. So, bikes kind of scare me sometimes. All right, so yes, I know it is, she's on a moped, but I was walking. It needs some more color. It just needs some more color. Not that. Oh, it's gotten very warm. Very, very warm. Let me see if this would work. Sometimes the nice thing with washi is if we put it down, especially if we put washi on washi and it kind of isn't working for us, then it's okay because we can pull it back up. But I think that just gives a little bit more color, so that'll work. Doing a little bit more of my outlining here because that just was bugging me. All right, so I think what I need, even though I have today's walk there and I already have a title, I feel like I need more color here. So the way I'm going to bring more color in is using some alpha stickers. This is a new storage device that I am playing with from scrapbook.com. And all of my sticker tablets I am putting in this little guy to try to keep them all together. So I'll let you know how that works. Yellow. You guys, me and my yellow. Maybe it's because I really can't wear yellow. If you're blonde, sometimes it's really hard to pull off yellow. So I tend to use a lot of yellow. All right, so today's walk. Let's call this, walking for me is a stress reliever. So in these sticker books, I have a couple of different sizes and different fonts. So what I'm thinking is if I use big for stress and use little for reliever, then they might kind of be about even. So that's what I'm going for, and we'll just kind of play and see what we get here. Color the trees at the top. I know, right? Debbie, I could pull out my colored pencils and totally color those. Using my little tweezers. I always use these tweezers when I'm working with stickers because it makes it very easy to place things. And then also, you'll notice, I don't know if you can see that, but I have not adhered the stickers all the way. So see how they're kind of open there up at the top? That means if I have my tweezers or something, it makes it really easy if I need to pull them back off to replace them. I don't mean replace with something else. I mean place them again, like if I need to move them around a little bit. So let's just see, because I don't know spacing quite yet. And I'm an on the fly person. You guys know that. I don't measure. I don't figure out how things are going to be even. And that means sometimes I have to move things around a bit. But that's okay. Because sometimes it works. Sometimes you just start to get an eye. Oh no! All right. So, well, I have another, hang on. Guess what? This is a good example of what you should do, what you shouldn't do, but what you should need to do before you start working. Somebody probably wrote that in the thing. That I don't have enough S's. I know, Jackie, you don't have enough S's, right? So here we go. What I can do, because I have more of these, well, I will come back. Just know I will come back. I have another sticker book in another spot, so I will add another S. But a good thing to do before you start is to make sure that you have enough letter stickers before you start. You could mix colors if I want, right? There's lots of different colors, or I could mix sizes. I could do things like that. Sometimes what I will do is, and now stress, I mean, that's pretty easy to figure out, but let's say reliever. So what I can come in, when I'm ready for reliever, what I can do with what I can come in and do with my pencil is do a little R right there, E, L, I, E, V, E, R. Okay, so I know I have enough to do reliever. But we'll come back and do reliever later. All right, reliever. Move my pencil. If I wanted to do reliever in a different color, I could, but I think we'll just leave this all yellow. Anyhow, walking. Hold on, R-E-L-I-E-V-E-R. So there are 8 letters, R-E-L-I. The I would be the center, roughly, but it gets a little off because the I is skinnier than the rest. But this is another way I could do this. I could try to come in the center about right here because my S will end about right there. So that's probably about the center-ish. Actually, that probably is, because if my S is right there, then it's 3 and 3. Stress R-E-L-I. R-E-L. So now I need to spell backwards and forwards to make sure I have enough room. R-E-L-I. R-E. So I think as I'm working on this, I'm thinking about what I might do over here. I think what I will do, but I will have to do this after the fact. So I will post this finished one later today on, social media. I think what I'm going to do is go find some kind of quote about walking or stress or something. I don't know. We'll see what I do. Eek, come on. But I am going to use my photo pen and I will write somewhere on here that quote. Kind of what I was talking about earlier. I have all this kind of blank white space to work with if I want. R-E. Oh my gosh, it is hotter. Oh, I always say this, hotter than the hubs of hell in here. R-E-L-I-E. The light's on. Whoo! Let's see what we're saying. Stress buster. Saves. Oh yeah, that would be good too. What, right? Archivers. Look at you guys talking about archivers. Archivers, yeah, that was awesome, wasn't it? It was a pretty awesome place. Archivers used to do an event. So Archivers was a kind of regional-ish craft chain. It was an awesome store. They were based out of Minnesota, Reliever. And they had an event, Scrap Fest, I think, every year at the Mall of America. So Mall of America, if you don't know, I know it used to be the largest shopping mall. I don't know, in the US probably. I don't know if it still is, but huge, huge, huge indoor shopping mall, Relieve ER. I thought I didn't have another E. Anyhow, in the middle of the mall, they would have this huge scrapbooking event, and it was the coolest thing ever. So a bunch of different manufacturers would have booths there, and they would do make and take. Make and take's booth, not booze. Booths, booths. They would have booths, whatever. And you could do make and takes. So fun little projects and things like that. That is not, okay, that's not even. That's all right. Anyhow, it was a very awesome thing. But then Archivers went out of business. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was sad. All right. Hi, Tracy. Never too late. Never too late, right? You had them in Georgia. Yeah, they were all over. Make and take booze sounds good too. Tracy Reed. Hi, my friend Tracy Reed. Nice to have you here. You guys, Tracy. So if you do not know Tracy Reed, I encourage you to know her. Tracy and I met, gosh, probably 5 years ago. I was working at Simple Store. Actually, not even that, Tracy. So Tracy and I met at a virtual event. This was actually a virtual event years ago. It was put on by an individual named Lane Amon, and I don't even remember what the event was called. But Tracy and I both taught at that virtual event, and that is, hi, Mom. That is when Tracy and I met. And then a couple of years later, Tracy and I kind of met again. And Tracy started working for Simple Stories as a designer when I was working at Simple Stories. So Tracy does, you guys, amazing digital. So similar to what we've talked about in a creative bubble. And I will make sure to link to Tracy as well when we are done. So I'll link to Tracy's site in the description of the video. Tracy, feel free to plug yourself, put your website in the chat, and then I will add it in the description of the video. Anyhow, Tracy does a ton of digital printables. Printables, but also if you're a digi-scrapper, digi-crafter, a hybrid scrapbooker, hybrid memory keeper, whatever it is, tons and tons of products for that. All right, so welcome, Tracy. Oh, Tracy and I also last weekend taught at a virtual event called the Scrap Smarter Experience. That was really fun. Okay, anyhow, I'm totally now sidetracked. All right, stress reliever. Let's bring in the colored pencils and see if we can match. Really what I would love to do, someone that needs a project, because I know you guys are all so bored that you have nothing else to do. I would love to ship my pencils off to someone. Totally kidding, obviously. I need to have these swatched because this is what I did last time, right? I'm trying to find a good color that would go there. I'm going to have to do that later, I think, you guys, because I have a feeling it's going to take a while to fill in those, well, not to fill in the trees, but to find what I want for the trees. Oh, let's just do it. So I'm very lightly coloring those little guys in. The little trees with colored pencil, just super light. You're barely gonna know they're there. There'll just be a tiny bit of color to them. Okay, just a little bit. So I'm kind of, see how that's a kind of a seafoam, and this really isn't a seafoam, even though it looks like it's seafoam. I know this pencil, it's not. So if I just color very lightly, then I kind of get that look. Now, if I wanted to, let's just see what happens. So I'm just going to emulate kind of this little tree here for a second to see what's going to happen if I do this, because I know I want to kind of color that in. But what I am interested in, what happens if I come in and really dark around that, how that might look. Not sure I'm sold on that. All right, so I can also come in maybe with a little light blue, right? A light blue for the clouds. Lord knows there's lots of light blues in here. Oh, here. And then I always like to test first just to make sure that it's a color that I like. But when I do that, you can't really see. See, I kind of need for the sky something a little bit more teal. All right, remember, I always like to mention this as we keep going because sometimes people pop in and then I see in places they're like, what a mess that was. What she's just like chit-chatting and, you know, nothing's happening. Well, that is the point of all of this, you guys. We just chit-chat and we play, and that's what we're doing. We're all working together at one big table in one big giant room. Ooh, maybe that one, because that one kind of matches her pants a little bit. So, oh, there's really no end to the cloud. So how's that going to work? Maybe we just kind of go into the sky a little bit. And now I'm doing my Bob Ross impression. So if I just go a little bit there and add little dots there, and then a little there, and then my little brushes there, and then I end up with an amazing scenery. I love Bob Ross. It's very funny because the younger generation, well, when I say younger, probably like Sam, my son Sam, the, 19, 18, 20, whatever that is. This whole Bob Ross, he is quite the, well, at least in Sam's little group, they really like Bob Ross. And now with Bob Ross, with YouTube, you can watch him all the time on YouTube. So let's do a little sun there. All right. Now the mountains. So the mountains, I don't really want to go with a brown. So maybe it'll just stay that way. But maybe the bird. So the bird might need to have a color. Let's see. Maybe a little bit of pink. And I know we don't usually see a pink bird flying through the air. That might be a sick bird. If we see a pink bird flying, maybe it's sick. Oh, I know. This is a flying flamingo. All right? I don't think flamingos fly, really. Well, no, I think I've seen them fly. Anyhow, that's a flying flamingo. That's why it's pink. So it's okay to be pink. All right. There we go. So we just add a little bit of color there. I think that's one of the reasons why I had to put those away, these printables so much, because with the black and white, you can pretty much make them anything that you want to make them. Oh, latecomer. Tebby, it says 8-comer. I'm like, what is that? Okay. Latecomer. There we go. Daughter gave me the Bob Ross Chia Pet. I know. Isn't that awesome? Yes, Sarah. I know I'm missing an S in stress. I ran out of S's. So when we are done, thank you though, because sometimes I just, sometimes that happens. Anyhow, across the room, I need to open up one of my little cabinets and then I'll pull out another book that has another stress. So where did those little guys go? Oh, here they are. I have carried several different types of the doodle bug. They're called sprinkles. And thank you, Terry. Yeah, I think I've seen them fly because you see they're like long legs in the air, I think. Well, I haven't seen them fly because I don't live in flamingo flying country. I live in the mountains. And as far as I know, there are no flamingos flying around here. But I think I've seen them fly. So Doodlebug makes these little cute shapes called sprinkles. And I have little hearts and I have rainbow hearts and all different things. But these are brand new and I loved these cameras because look like little Polaroids, right? And they're just cute. So they're like little enamel stickers. And I thought this would kind of be fun to bring in to put somewhere. Dee. But I'm not sure where. Maybe there. That's kind of a good spot for it. So there we go. I'm a big sucker for well, you guys know that. A big sucker for cameras. When you see me at the beginning and ending of videos, up in my craft room, on that big IKEA unit behind me is a long row of vintage cameras that I have collected over the years. So if you are a memory keeper, scrapbooker, whatever you want to call it is what we do, then cameras are usually a big part of our life because we're taking photos. Well, now it's a phone, but all right, so I will come back after the video and I will do my little journaling about how I've been doing a lot of walking and how that's a good stress reliever. And then somewhere over here, I will come in with some kind of quote. Now, one of the things I will tell you guys that that Tracy does, Tracy Reed that we've talked about, And I learned this from Tracy in the video from the Scrap Smarter Experience event that we did last weekend. She has digital brushes. And so a brush is basically like a stamp, but it is digital. So you can take any of Tracy's digital artwork and turn them into a digital stamp or a brush. But you can do that with lots of digital artwork. So what I could do if I wanted to reprint this photo, I could pull it up into Photoshop or Photoshop Elements or any kind of photo editing program, and there are free ones on the market, but I could add a digital stamp, so a brush, on this photo. So if I had a stamp that said, I don't know, enjoy the outdoors or something like that, just pretend, then I could put that digital stamp on the brush onto my photo and then print it out. So it would kind of be cool because it could look like that I stamped that on there. Anyhow, I won't do that, but I'll do something with my pen and we will call that one good. So lots of things to come back and do. I need to add my S, I need to do my journaling, and I need to do something over here. Even though, yes, I know she's on a moped and moped is not walking. Okay, so there is the first spread. Next one. Okay, so this is an interesting one. And I started thinking about this a little bit last Friday night. And then it kind of came a little bit more into focus earlier this week based on an email that I received from someone that watches my videos. So last Friday night was the beginning of the event called the Scrap Smarter Experience. I will link to that in the description of the video as well, because it was a virtual event, but everything was recorded. So you can still sign up for that for a short period of time. Anyhow, on Friday night, Stacy Julian was the keynote speaker, and some of you recognize that name. She started Big Picture Scrapbooking. She years ago was the editor of a publication called Simple Scrapbooks. Anyhow, she's an awesome person, super awesome personality, and very wise when it comes to, she's been doing kind of this memory keeping a long, long time. Anyhow, so for her keynote, she talked about a number of things. But one of the things that she talked about in her keynote was, as you are memory keeping, that it's okay to memory keep things that are a little bit harder to deal with. Death or divorce or loss of a job, coronavirus, depression. But she talked about how that's still a very important part of the story to tell, right? Because that's part of our life. Everything is not rainbows and butterflies, right? As much as we would like to think that life is rainbows and butterflies, and sometimes when we look at social media, it looks like people's lives are rainbows and butterflies. We know that's not the case. So this definitely goes back to a you do you. You decide what it is you want to scrapbook. You decide what it is that you want to memory keep. So that kind of started ringing true to me. And I was thinking about, you guys know, some of you know that my dad's wife passed away in May. And we have since then moved my dad here, and we had a couple trips to California to visit him and then pack him up to move, all of that. So that happened definitely in the middle of the coronavirus. That also happened in the middle of summer. And so I had started last Friday thinking about, I had already started documenting that trip in my coronavirus traveler's notebook, but I hadn't really thought about, so how do I document that she died? How do I document that? That definitely, the coronavirus definitely complicated that whole process a little bit. So I just kind of left that in the back of my head, and it was kind of percolating. Then a couple of days ago, I had an email from someone. And I don't remember her name, but I very much remember our conversation. And she said that she had started memory keeping and she's working in a traveler's notebook and how she's really enjoyed it. And she has a traveler's notebook where she's been documenting her summer. And then she said her father-in-law passed away in the middle of the summer. And she said, I'm not sure what I should do. I don't know if I should add that to my traveler's notebook. I don't know. I mean, this is summer. This is about how we're having fun in summer and what we're doing in the middle of summer. And I don't know if I should add that event to my summer traveler's notebook. I don't know if that's okay. And will it ruin the feel and it's all happy, but then that happens. And so I just don't know what to do. And I think that's when sometimes a lot of people get paralyzed, especially if you are documenting or memory keeping chronologically. If you are stuck and you're not sure what to do, I think sometimes that's when people just set it off to the side and never come back, right? They just don't know how to handle it, so they don't. And so I responded back to her and I said, first of all, you are the boss of you. And I don't think I exactly said it that way, but basically it was in the, of the you do you, like I always say. If you feel like it's something that you should document, then do it. If you don't feel like you want to document it, or you don't feel like you want to document it in your summer traveler's notebook, then don't. There's no rules, right? So you get to decide when you document, you get to decide what you document, and you get to decide how you document. So one of the things I suggested to her was, if you decide that you want to include it in your summer traveler's notebook, maybe don't focus so much on the fact that he passed away and the funeral and really documenting the specifics, like the facts. You don't necessarily need to document the facts. Maybe what you do is maybe you document some of your favorite memories about your father-in-law, or some of the things that you admired about him. Or maybe you do a completely separate traveler's notebook. Maybe you do a completely separate insert about your father-in-law, talking about his life and pulling old photos, more like a scrapbook, and then have other family members also include their voice in what you're documenting. So you could have them each write a note. You could add the note to your traveler's notebook, different photos, different things like that. So really, it was so interesting because I had in the back of my head the fact that Rosalie, my dad's wife, had passed away. And, do I document that? How do I do it? Do I want to do it? And then Stacy Julian, Friday night, and then probably Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, I have the question. I thought, you know what? That is a sure sign. That is a sure sign that I am going to document this. Not that I should. Hold on, I need to grab my iced tea. Left it across the room. Not that I should. In my world, should be, the word should be written out of the word memory keeping or crafting or documenting. There shouldn't be a should, right? Should not is okay. Should isn't. There shouldn't be a should on what you do, on what you use, on how you use it, on when you use it, on how you do anything. So we're taking the word should and we're rolling it up in a ball and throwing it away. So this is what I am going to do. I am going to document in my coronavirus traveler's notebook, Rosalie. And I printed out this photo of my dad and Rosalie, and I thought I am going to use this. I'm adding it into, so this is coronavirus traveler's notebook number 3, and you can see the beginning of it, still lots of holes, right? Still lots of holes. But because I was skipping around chronologically, this is when I had started documenting the road trip that Sam and I took to go see my dad the first time. So I thought, well, this would be a good place for it. This was a very unusual situation because normally, if it was not coronavirus time, Nick, my husband, and I would have just flown. Hi, Vicky. Oh, look it. Vicky's here too today. Everybody say hi to Vicky. We all know and love Vicky. And sometimes she pops in every Saturday. So thanks, friend. Vicky and Tracy and my mom. So awesome. And all the Karens and Terry and Donna and Ginny and Chris and Debbie and everyone. All right. So that is also why I will leave some blank pages, because if I'm not quite sure what I am going to do, because this is funny. It's kind of like a family reunion with Vicky and Tracy because we were all together last weekend at that event. Well, virtually at that event. All right, so that is going to go here. A couple of things, actually that's not going here because I already had something else planned here. So that is going to go right. Oh, I just had my little, I think. See, this is where it gets a little weird, you guys. So when I started this traveler's notebook, I didn't know this third coronavirus one that I was necessarily going to do this. So this will kind of go out of order a little bit. I'm not going to put it in. This doesn't have to be the day that she passed away either, right? So I look at it and go, okay, this is probably a good spot right here. There's a very specific reason why it's not going to go right here. I have a little bit of shadowing, a little ghosting. See that? The 2 and the 5 backwards. I have that from my stamping on this page. And that happens. Sometimes you just can't get away from it, no matter how thick your inserts are. And the inserts that I use, the Carpe Diem inserts, are really pretty thick, but sometimes it's just going to happen. So when that happens, whatever I put on this page will end up being some kind of pattern paper or, something like that that would cover up that ghosting. But I've already kind of thought about how I want to lay this out, and that won't work for here. So let's get the page. All right, so this is going to go over there. I might put a piece of pattern paper there. I'm not quite sure yet. And then over here, I want to do some stamping. So I have pulled out these Denali stamps from Carrie Bradford. And you guys all know my girl crush with Carrie and her amazing artwork. So I thought these would be kind of fun to use. And so I am going to stamp a little title over here. So let's get some things out. I use this grid stamping block, but I don't use this grid stamping block to actually do my stamping. I use this grid stamping block behind whatever I am going to stamp on. So that way I can make sure that I get a nice flat surface. As I've been working in my Traveler's Notebook, there may be some lumpy, bumpy parts, right? So different things that I'm adding might make this page right here a little bit uneven when I go to do my stamping. So that's what I use that for. And I have linked to this in the description of the video. You can also use them. I think they come in a pack of 7 or 8 different sizes, different grid, little stamping blocks like that in the package. But the other thing that I could do, but this gets a little iffy. Well, I could never do this on video because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But sometimes I will take that page, and it's going to be hard to show you. Let me just pretend like if this trimmer is my work surface, the edge of my table. And I won't do this here because this would give me a really bad pattern. But if it was the edge of my table, sometimes I can come in like this and do that and do my stamping just like that on the edge of my table. Now, some people will come in when they start working with a new insert and completely take out the staples. So you could remove the staples and then work with everything and then come back and staple it again, or you could stitch it. I did a video, I think it was maybe video 6, I want to say, in the series early on about making your own Traveler's Notebook inserts so you can stitch your own inserts. Anyhow, lots of different options there, but okay. So this is what I'm going to do. If you had, I kind of like these because it dual purpose. You could use this for your stamping too. But if you didn't have something like that, if you had maybe like a thin piece of plastic, not too thin, but a thin piece of plastic to give you something that would keep, you'd have a solid surface right there that you're standing on. So I am going to stamp. Let me see. I have a couple different stamping blocks out. That one had the chamois on it. One of the things that I shared last week that I have had a ton of questions on. Oopsie, don't put that on the wet chamois now. So sometimes your stamping blocks, if you're me, let me grab one that's like this, get all yucky, right? So I use black ink a lot, and I have some little things stuck to this one. I use black ink quite a bit, and see how I have the ink that is kind of all over that stamping block, and it's okay, it's not gonna hurt it, but sometimes you just don't like it to look that way. I always keep a magic eraser. This is one of those magic eraser things that pretty much takes anything off of anything. I think Mr. Clean or something like that. But I can just use that and with a little elbow grease, all that ink will come right off. See how that's all coming off. So that's a good little thing to kind of keep in your craft supplies if you're like me and sometimes you get your black ink all over your stamping block. See, it's almost clean. All right, So let's see what we want to do here. I think this is going to say, oh, but sometimes you get all the little yuckies. You get all the little, it's weird because whatever that's made out of, it kind of crumbles. All right, so I thought maybe, let's see. I thought I might spell goodbye. And I know goodbye, I don't have enough room to do goodbye all the way across. So I thought I would do goodbye. So we'll see what that looks like. So this block, I'm doing my stamping, like to use a thicker block like this because just for my hands, I like to have enough of a block to really hold on to. And then this has the nice little grooves, but the grid is awesome because any kind of grid, if you're doing any kind of stamping, if you can find a grid stamping block, that's a good one to go with because it helps you line up your letters. And then I was almost going to spell grid. Now, here's an interesting thing that happens. So if I'm spelling goodbye, my stamp set only has one O. So what I would do is I would come in and do my G and the O, and then I would grab my D, but if I know that my O, and I'm not going to have enough room, so I'll end up typing G-O, and then I'll come back and then do the O or the OD, okay? So if I have enough room on my stamping block, and I don't, I could put my D here, and then I could come in and move my O from here to here, and I know that I have enough space, right? Okay. Dollar Tree plastic cutting mats. Ooh, that's good, Terry. That's a great idea too. Like a cutting board mat. Is that like in the kitchen area? All right, where's my ink pad? Move this out of the way. That's not good. I'm gonna have to repair that. You know what? Hang on. Let me get that out of there because that's just disaster waiting to happen. Let me grab another one of those. Okay. There we go. That was not going to be good between all the white, my white tabletop, and my hands, fingers. All right, so I like a really, really, really inked up stamp. I don't like there to be lots of holes. Holes. Well, I guess that's what I call them, holes. I don't like there to be lots of blank space in my stamp. So I always really load it up well with lots of ink. So let's see what we're going to do here. If I have, let's do it this way. I will ink up again in a sec, but so if I need to make sure I leave myself enough room, just make a little mark there because I want to come in on that line. It's another nice thing too, if you are using inserts or paper, whatever, that have lines on them, it helps you make sure that your things are lined up. So let's see. We're going in. Sometimes this is the scary part, huh, you guys? Sometimes this is scary. And I've messed up before. You guys have seen me mess up before, and then we just figure out a way to fix it. Like last weekend. Those of you who were here last weekend with the chick flick. You know what I mean there. All right. So there's my GO. Now that's a pretty good impression, right? Pretty good impression. If I have a little bit of area where you see a little bit of white coming through, I could use my little Sharpie to fill that in if I didn't like that. Now, this is one thing that you want to remember. If you are stamping, like I did here, directly to the page, you want to double check to make sure before you stamp that you don't have something already going on here. And what I mean by that is you can see again the ghosting. That's a really, really wet ink. So I have a lot of ghosting. If I had already done this page and I put that stamp on the other side, I really haven't ruined it, but I've kind of ruined it by doing that. So what you could do if that was the case, if I already had something here, I either would do my stamping over here, or I would put a piece of white cardstock here down first, or pattern paper or something first before I did my stamping. So hopefully that makes sense when I say don't, pay attention before you do something to what's on the other side first. All right, so G-O, okay. I have pulled out, you know what, I'm not gonna do this right now because this is gonna make a mess if I do that. Let me just pull my G. I will clean this later. Try not to touch that to get all over ink on myself. Okay, so G-O, and then in my O-D, my O can just stay right where it is. Oh, I already have my D. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. It's over here. So you guys, this is kind of last week. Okay, that won't work because my D is too tall. So let's move this guy down to the next line. Not really last week of summer, but really last week of August, right? So, or last weekend in August, I guess. Which is kind of weird. It's been such a weird summer, right? Doesn't even really feel like there was a summer, to me at least. Normally there's so much traveling. There's so much traveling that both Nick and I do that has just not been happening. We were supposed to go to Europe in May for our 25th anniversary, and that didn't happen. But really feel like we need to get out of here, really get me out of here. So we actually are headed on Tuesday, Nick and I, to Bryce Canyon, which is one of the, I think, 5 national parks in Utah, southern Utah. Ooh. Anyhow, there are cabins in the national park, and we are staying at in a cabin for a couple days, and then the hiking. Bryce Canyon is unbelievable, you guys. Vicki and I went last summer. Vicki usually comes out to see me every summer, and she had plans to this summer, but then obviously that didn't happen. So, but Vicki and I drove down there last summer. It's maybe 4 hours away, but you guys, it is like Mars. If you Google Bryce Canyon, B-R-Y-C-E, it is it seriously looks like Mars. So very much looking forward to getting away for a couple days. I don't even know how I got into talking about that, but however I did. Make sure there's no ink on my fingers. All right. You know what? I'm almost, I need to do this first. Just make sure that it looks good. Okay, re-ink. Re-ink. Stamping sometimes, it's a process, right? If you are stamping titles and you are needing to stamp multiple times because your block that you want to use doesn't have enough space on it, it's a process. But sometimes, stamping is awesome because you can basically create whatever you want, right? As opposed to letter stickers. I mean, there's a time and place for both. I need to move this down a little bit more towards my end here, you guys. Oh, no! Well, I don't know if you could see what I just did. I accidentally kissed it first. I didn't mean to do that. So this may not quite, the D may not quite work because I accidentally touched it first. Oh my gosh, okay, it worked. All right, we're almost done with the stamping because you can see I'm a bit of a spaz when it comes to stamping, and so I'm starting to make a mess. Normally, and I should be, do I have stuff on my fingers? I do, that's the problem. Oh golly. You guys, this is about as mixed media, Scheiße. Excuse my French, well, excuse my German. That wasn't French. I just swore in German. Anyhow, I picked that up I was a foreign exchange student in high school and spent 4 months in Germany. But then when my kids were little, and sometimes you just have to swear. Well, if I'd say Scheiße and they were little, they didn't know what that meant until they kind of start to get the inflection and understanding what's happening in the tone, and then they start saying it. All right, I have a mess going here, you guys. I have a mess. So, hang on, I need to clean this because this is not going to turn out well unless I do this. Hang tight. I just have to move these off for a second. Come off. Oh yeah. A master stamper, and I am not. You will never see me teach a stamping class. All right, so I need to come in and get this off because that block has black ink all over it, and I probably should be stamping the ink block the other way instead. All right, make sure I have no ink on my fingers now, because if I have ink on my fingers, then I get little things like that. All right, so now we need the by. B-Y-E, A-B, B-Y-E, B, Y. So, kids, those of you that have kids, back to school, right? How's back to school going these days with the virus and all that? I think it's so hard because you have to make, I mean, even if you have the option, sometimes you have to make the choice of whether whether they go back to school in person, whether they are going to, whether they're doing online school. If you can, if you have the ability to help them do online school, it's just kind of a mess, right? It's just a little bit of a mess. Sam has decided to take a gap semester or a gap year or a gap life. I don't know. From college, we learned he is not an online learning is not for him. So I think that's the biggest thing, and that we've learned that with our kids is that over the years you have to be very flexible with your kids in terms of, especially when they get to be adults, right? Because they're adults. Goodbye. All right. So I think what I'm going to do, see how I've laid that there? Even though I think the B, I like this tucked in. I like those letters tucked in right there. So the B is actually going to partly go over the little, I don't know the exact terminology for all the parts of letters, but that leg of the B, I guess, I don't know what that is going to actually come over the O a little bit. But I like that tucked in versus it being right there, because if I do it right there, that wouldn't look necessarily bad if I did it right there. But then what I'm going to end up with is kind of this trapped white space. So I have all of this white space right there above the Y and below the O, and it's just kind of there. So I know that would bother me. So I will tuck it in up here and it'll be good. So let's see. Both back at college, stuck with apartment leases. I know, right? And that's the hard thing, is that whether it's dorm or apartment, a lot of people had to commit like back in, May, June. And I don't think any of us back in May, June had any clue that is, what we'd still kind of be in the middle of the things that we are right now. My kids are grown, gone, send them in, homeschooling. I know that's the hard thing, because I know 100,000 million % that I'd go crazy. I know it. I have so much respect for all the parents that did what they did the end of the school year, really the last semester. Homeschooling their kids, working from home, trying to work from home, trying to balance working from home and homeschooling their kids. And I just, oh my gosh, the utmost respect. I feel very fortunate that I do not have school-age children right now, because I know that I would be a mess. I'd be a basket case. I mean, you know what? We figure it out, right? We end up figuring things out. So props to you mamas that are in the middle of that or had to figure that out. And yes, you should celebrate your awesomeness. Both virtual. Youngest is senior in high school. Oh, and that makes me so sad. The poor, everybody, but the poor seniors, right? The seniors last year that, that's like the pinnacle. You've worked your whole life up to that point for your senior year, and then you miss out on, it's tough. It is, gosh, it's tough. It's tough stuff that's going on right now. It's tough stuff for our kids. Our kids aren't necessarily mature enough to, know how to deal with all this. I mean, half the time I don't feel like I'm mature enough to figure out how to deal with all this, right? We're all in uncharted territory, that is for sure. Okay, so bye. Okay, I'm going in. I am committing. Okay, I'm committing. That's a hard, Karen, I know it's so hard though, because there are, if there are people that, have jobs and have to work, they'll lose their jobs. So then what do you do? It's just it is a no-win. It is a no-win. There's no good scenario. There's no good situation. So yeah, we just hope that next year at this time, things are way different, right? We hope they're way different. All right, there we go. Goodbye. All right, and I'm pretty good. I'm a little bit not filled in, but that's okay. So, and I don't even know the proper terminology for it. But you guys know what I say when I'm like a little bit not filled in? Sometimes you have lots of holes in your stamping from the ink, but that's good. I'm liking that, so that'll work. All right, goodbye. Let me get this off to the side for now. I won't clean it. I used my little stamp chamois. You've seen me use that. I linked to that as well. That's a, excuse me, something crashed to the floor. Oh, my trimmer. I'm working in like the littlest, tiniest space. Even though my room is much bigger, I'm working in a little tiny space. All right, so this will come in here. All right, I know I need to do my outlining. Now, this photo, actually, and this is interesting. This is not my photo. This photo I pulled off of Facebook. So that is a good point. You don't always have to have the photo. You don't have to have the photo in your camera roll. You didn't have to take it. If it's something like this and I did not have a photo that I wanted to use that was more current, go to Facebook, go to social media, contact family members and ask them if they have a photo. This photo had a lot of different colors going on it. And I didn't want the colors to conflict with the different product that I wanted to use. So I just turned it black and white. I just changed it to black and white right on my phone and then printed it out on that Epson PictureMate through their Creative Print app. Okay, let me just look really quick. I know that font. Isn't that font awesome? That is the Denali. That is Carrie Bradford, the Denali XL stamp. And I have linked to that in the description of the video. Love to support Carrie. Let me just look at really quickly. That's interesting, Karen, because the kids that were born around 9/11, the exact same age, those kids also, the year they graduated was coronavirus. So I was reading something that said those kids, 9/11, the Great Recession of 2008, the pandemic is kind of an interesting time for those kids. You crossed out the 2020 and the senior changed it to 21, junior in college. Dorm life, I know that's the scary thing too, right? Dorm life, because kids are kids and they go off to college and they want to play and have fun. And okay, so here we go. Products that I pulled out to work on this one. Fresh Bouquet. So Fresh Bouquet stickers from Crate Paper. This is a Maggie Holmes line, and I thought this would work. I thought this would work really well. One of the things that really jumped out to me personally for this was Rosalie loved hummingbirds. Like love hummingbirds. And she and my dad had this thing about hummingbirds. So just so happened that this collection has hummingbirds. So I thought I can work some hummingbirds in there. I can work some flowers in there. I also pulled, this is the Hello Washi Tape Trio. So I thought that maybe some of this would blend in with what I'm using. That's another one. I've just kind of pulled different washi to play with. So since we're not quite sure what's going to happen here. This one I will not date. Well, I'll date it for May, but I won't date it for a particular date because I'm not going to date it the day that she passed away, but that also isn't the date of this photo either. So you can kind of leave things generic if you don't know the date of a photo or you just want to leave it generic. So let's see what we are going to use here. I know I will do journaling here. And I might add a sticker or two. Somehow I need to fix that little part right there. So that little part right there is a little blip from ink at Ink Fair because I wasn't clean enough. So I am going to pull out a couple of different 6x8 pads. Where'd that other one go? And see if maybe there's something that I see here that I like. That could potentially work. Too much color. Nope, too much. I don't know, maybe. This one might work. I've talked about using 6x8 pads before in your traveler's notebooks. The most awesome thing about a 6x8 pad, well, is the size. It's 6x8. And what size is our traveler's notebook? At least the ones that I use, they are 8.25 by 5. So I can use a 6x8 pad and this paper, just trim it down a little bit, and then it will work very well. So I'm going to use this guy. So it's interesting, and I don't generally pay attention to what the words are behind something like this because to me it's just more of a generic pattern, kind of a neutral. But it's kind of interesting because this says cherish time, allow hard times to reveal, tell a beautiful story, gather your loved ones. So actually that works very nicely for this topic. So grab my trimmer that crashed to the floor. What, as you guys are chit-chatting, what plans does everybody have for the weekend? Doing anything? Crafting? Spending time outside? Okay, 5. So let's see, 4.75. Let's see how we do with that. We have, so Nick, my husband, has a friend. Well, he has more than one friend. He has a friend. A little bit smaller. He has a friend that he has known since 2nd grade. And it is his wife's 50th birthday. So we were going over to their house later. All right, I need that to be a little bit skinnier because I already did my outlining. A little bit thinner. Oh, a little bit thinner is always a good thing, right? When is a little bit thinner a bad thing? Pretty much never. In my book. All right, there we go. Let's try that. But what's interesting is that's actually who Sam is working for right now, is this friend of Nick's. He has a, I don't know how you say it, electrician company, but it's not an electrician company. It's not an electric company. He's an electrician. It's a very large company. And Sam is, for the last probably month, is kind of learning how, well, the very early stages of being an electrician. So it's keeping him busy, keeping him out of trouble. I mean, not that he gets in trouble, but you know, kids, right? Always good for them to be busy. Sam, last summer, his summer job, he worked construction and he was all set to do that again this year. Some of you may, some of you may remember that Sam had a little accident. He was mountain biking and went over, oh goodness. He was mountain biking, went over the handlebars, ended up in the ER at the beginning of the summer. And so that kind of totally messed up his construction job. So he was ready to crawl out of his skin this summer because it's not necessarily easy to find a job. But anyhow, just chit-chatting away. Okay, clean up that mess. And this will go in here somewhere. Maybe there, maybe kind of centered-ish. Gosh, that takes a long time, right? How long have I been working on that one spread, right? It looks like I've done nothing. I added some letters and then a piece of paper and a photo, right? Sometimes just things take a long time. And that's kind of, sometimes I think we will steer away from crafting because we only have 10 or 15 minutes and you think, I don't have enough time. There's always time, right? If you have 10 or 15 minutes, that's when you can make a list, or that's when you can just even sit down and go through the photos on your phone and figure out what you might want to work on. Kind of related to that, I have this traveler's notebook is where I keep all of a couple inserts that aren't here. Where I keep track of the different memory keeping things that I want to document, the different memory keeping things I want to document in my coronavirus traveler's notebook, the different list ideas that I have for our sessions. So if you, well, let me go back to this. What I will do, let's look at specifically like some of the memory keeping things. So these are where I would just keep track of, and it's messy, you guys, right? Not everything you do in a traveler's notebook has to be beautiful and pretty. This is just messy. This is pure function. But this is where I will sit down and go, oh, I know I want to document, oh, Sam, when he was helping me make charms. And so I write that topic down, and then I write the date so I can easily go back and find that photo. But if you only have 10 or 15 minutes and you feel like you want to do something crafty, even if it's sitting down at your phone and coming up with a list, looking at your photos, the different things that you might want to document later, or make a list, or go through some of your product and figure out what you have, what you think you might want to use. Even though that's not really, well, it is. It's still crafting. It's just a different type of crafting, right? You're still kind of being creative, but you're doing some of the prep work to be creative. All right. So there, now we fix that little issue. Yes, and somebody mentioned too, washi always helps. Washi, I could have put washi over that too. I don't know, maybe. I'm not sure I'm feeling that. So we'll put that back. I'm going to think about it for right there. What do I want to do over here? I know I don't want to do any kind of journaling over here. I know I just want to do stickers and things, but washi. Because washi is always part of it, right? This washi is always part of it. Let's just play. This is another new one that I have brought in. So we looked at the stack that had the little different colors of the smaller scallop. This is another doodlebug, and I've linked to this in the description of the video as well. Look at that. Isn't that yummy? So that is a gold foil scallop. And when we put it down, and I'll just do that again here on this little scratch paper. When we put it down, that little white part becomes transparent. So you really don't see that. It just looks like you have a really neat gold foil scallop. So I think that gold foil scallop may come in over here somewhere. Let's see. Bridget, scrapbook page titles in your phone. That's great. And you know, here's another thing. A lot of these things I do in a traveler's notebook to keep track of things like that, but you guys definitely in your phone. So you can set up different albums in your phone. So you could have albums of pictures that you want to print or spreads that you want to document or different memories. You can also use the notes on your phone to keep track of things like that, like different scrapbook page titles or different product you want to buy or different things you want to try or different techniques you want to try. So like Vicky does amazing work with, she does amazing work with mixed media. She's a mixed media master. And she has all kinds of videos. So maybe you think, oh, I want to mess around with gesso, or I want to mess around. Look at me. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't even know what these things are. I want to mess around with art crowns, or I want to mess around with one of these things and kind of play. You know, I want to watch this video of Vicky's or that video of Vicky's. So make a list of that. And those could be your just list like I showed you. That's just something like this. But you could also make a list, like you know how we make our lists every other Saturday. Or decorative lists. Well, not sure where that went. Somewhere in here. But you could make a decorative list. So maybe you only have 5 minutes and you think, oh my gosh, there's all these cool techniques I want to try. Get out your traveler's notebook, write down the techniques, put a piece of washi or two down and a sticker, and then you have basically done something that serves two purposes. The first one is you have made a list of something that you want to do in the future, but you've also just gotten a little bit crafty. And if you're the kind of person like me that feels like you always need a little bit of crafty in your life, well, there you go. That was a great way to get a little bit crafty. You just made a list so you can remember something you want to do, but you added a couple stickers and washi, and then you were crafty at the same time. Okay, I like this one. I'm just going to tear it first. Tear a little bit off. And that is from the Hello Washi Tape Trio. Put that buffalo check, buffalo plaid. Somebody looked that up for us last time. On why it's called buffalo check or buffalo plaid or whatever you call it. No, it's kind of interesting there. You can see a little bit, see, I don't know if you can see that. You can see a little bit of those words kind of showing through that little strip there. All right. So, DTD, what else do we have? Now we have some stickers because we need some color for sure. We need some color. You know, heartfelt may work over here. Just put that down and see if we like it there. I don't like it there. Maybe there. Maybe there. I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of sitting on washi, so it's not really sticking. It's okay. Flowers. Flowers, flowers, flowers. Great paper. Maggie Holmes, known for their beautiful flowers. I need to, I'm just going to tack this down. Just a little. Is that one still working? Yeah. Tack it down just a little bit in case I decide I need to move it. Maybe it goes there. Let's see. Maybe. Oh, barely tacked down. All right. So I am going to tack it down there. Not tack it down. No, I'm really going to glue it down. I think right there. There's a plant right there. So I am going to put this sticker right there. And it is partially on one page, partially on the other. Just like my washi does that. There's some good hearts in here too. So let's see. Ooh, that green. So that green heart can tie in with that. Maybe there. All right. Something still needs over here, but I don't know. I would really like to use this. Really like to use that guy. So I think, I don't know, his little beak is so long. Her beak is so long. Maybe. All right, I'm going to look at the screen now because sometimes you guys will be like, ooh, put this over there. Like the picture there. Okay. Oh, hi, Nick. How's golfing? Nick's golfing. He usually pops on in between holes. Isn't that funny? And I'm sure, well, all of the guys he golfs with, they know after they're always like, no, wait a minute. What does your wife do again? Because let's be honest, people don't really understand our scrapbooking, memory keeping world, right? They don't really understand it, especially when it's your business, then people really don't understand it. They're like, wait a minute, what? You sell stickers and you teach people how to scrapbook? What? People still do that? Yeah. So that's always an interesting discussion. All right, I think that will work there. We're just going to make it work because that has more meaning than design, right? That has more meaning, so it needs to be there. Move thing. We can put that. I won't do that, but we can have fun with it, right? Maybe my dad needs a big bow around his neck. No. If there was a picture of a dog there or a cat there, that could be cute. Let's see. Maybe the bird in the bottom covering the end of the washi. Oh, right there. We could try that. We'll see what it looks like. Hummingbird looks good there. So let's just see. But I think I like it there because I think I've got a little bit of space. Oh, I know I like it there, and this is why. So Marta, this is what would happen if I put this guy there. Actually, let me see if I can pull it off, and I'll show you. Sometimes you make design decisions and you don't necessarily know why they work, or sometimes why they don't work. So I'll show you why, and it's a wonderful suggestion, but I'll show you why I think for me this doesn't work. So I put this right here. Now I have a lot going the bottom part, right? So that's a lot going in the bottom part for me. It's good because it forms a visual triangle, and visual triangles, they say, it's good to have a visual triangle, but this is now very bottom heavy. So if I put this right here, then that will work right there. So I will still, I mean, I have kind of this line going, so who knows kind of what I end up with over here. I will probably end up doing a couple of word strip stickers because you guys know how much I love my word strip stickers. Let's grab those real quick. Oh, my trimmer is on top of those on the ground. Okay. So my thoughts for this guy, I think I will end up with 2 of these. So it's a divided plastic storage container, but I have my sticker tablets in these sectioned off. These are all of the word strip stickers. You guys know how much I love the word strip stickers. They're all in there. And then I think I'm going to get another one of these and do my 6x8 pads in there. I will link to these, to that little storage container as well. I just have to make sure I write that down or I will forget. And that I will include in my video on how I store all of my stickers, because I store them in a couple of different ways. All right, so my word strip stickers are here. Chit chat, that's going to be too small. Small talk, I think small talk will be good. We know we don't want small talk snarky. This is another one. I don't pull these out very often, so let's take a look at these too and see if any of these would work. So these are Tim Holtz, 2 different types of word strip stickers. And I've used word strip stickers on things for years because sometimes you just need a little something. Like right here, I feel like I need a little something right there just to kind of round that out. And a word strip sticker is the perfect thing to go there. So these are white and black. So the first part of the pad is white, second black. Then these are called clippings. And the idea behind these, if you have ever, you'll see some designers or some artists cut words and phrases out of old books. So that's the kind of the idea behind this. These look more like they are cut out of old books. So, but they're kind of fun. Tell me where the unicorn is. At one time, not so long, demanding something different, just at the moment. The secret of everyday things. She was a beautiful child. She was herself again. She spoke from her heart. And actually, that is, so Rosalie definitely spoke from her heart. So that, let's see, that could work there. Let's see what that looks like. Let me get my tweezers. There, I like that. All right, so as I do my journaling here, my journaling is not necessarily going to be about Rosalie passing away. I know that, yes, I will, Mimi. I will link to those stickers. Because all of those word strip stickers I sell on my website. Those are called the clippings. But I will link to those. It's funny, you guys, because ahead of time, I think, oh, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use that. And I try to, before we start, have as much as possible linked. But you know how we get. We'll be working on something and be like, ooh, I need to add this, or I need to change something. I need to do something different, like that. Oh, I know. So in my journaling, I'm not going to really focus on the fact that she passed away. And this is kind of what I had alluded to earlier. One of the recommendations that I gave to the individual that had emailed me earlier this week about her father-in-law passing away and how best do I document that. I'm just going to focus on some of the things that I loved and remembered about Rosalie. So I will remember because it's very significant, obviously, because she passed away, but it was also very significant because it was during the coronavirus, and that made things much more difficult when you have someone that passes away during this time. So I will remember that during this time of the coronavirus, this happened, but I'll focus more on that when I do my journaling. But I want to take a little bit more time. I won't do that journaling while we're together because I need to spend a little bit of time kind of thinking about what I want to put there. So there is our second spread. Super simple, right? Really pretty simple, but my style, right? This is definitely, if you look through what I do when it comes to my listing, I have a very, to me, specific style. And that's what I stick to. Even though sometimes if I get kind of bored with it, that is what I stick to because it's my style. I do me, you do you. All right, the last one. The last one will be a pretty quick one. Here's the photo. where is, oh, here we go. Too many things all over the place. Delight in the making. Delight in the making. And I had, oh, this one. This, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. Well, thinking out loud. I'm not thinking out loud, I'm thinking to myself. I think this delight in the making, I have to think about this for a second. Delight in the making. That one is going to go into one of my coronavirus traveler's notebooks. I have documented probably 3 or 4 different times. Let me just pull them out. 3 or 4 different times in my different coronavirus traveler's notebooks. There are Saturday sessions because they are a big part of, you know, what's been happening in the coronavirus for me. Because this is a big part of my life every Saturday. Started out, I've mentioned this a couple times before, started out, oh, I'll do 1 or 2 of these classes, and then here we are, I don't know how many Saturdays later. That was the third weekend in March. So I have documented a couple times because it is very much part of, I'm just going to find that, oh, here we go. This was the first one of what we've been doing, what I've been doing. So this was the very first one that I did. Our very first date was March 21st when I did that kind of intro to Traveler's Notebook class. So I documented it once there. This I have included, the one that I'm flipping through right now. This I have a flip through. I've included a flip through of this in the description of the video. I'm hoping, well, let's be honest, it's probably going to be another couple of weeks before I can get the next one posted, my second one. Okay, so that was one. The next one, I think, is in... Anyhow, it's okay to document things multiple times, right? You do you. You're the boss of you. You decide what you document. Maybe not. Oh, yeah, there's another one. There's April, documenting what we're doing. And then there's even one in, well, let's be honest. March to April, April to May, May to June, June to July, 5 months. So we've been doing this for 5 months. So it's okay for me to document it. I can document it as many times as I want. Oh, and the last one was right here. So I know I want to document this again. This, I don't know. It was dated, that was from the 22nd. That was last weekend, you guys. This was a shot of my desk when we were done. Okay, all of that stuff piled on, and that was a shot of my desk when we were done. So I thought I would use this little photo to document more about our Saturdays. So because this was August 22nd, I know this will go in one of my traveler's notebooks for the coronavirus. I am so far behind August 22nd that I don't know even where to put it yet. So when I don't know where to put something, that is when I build it on its own, and then I can go and add it later wherever I need it to go. So that is what I'm going to do. I printed that photo on that Picture-Mate, that size, and I printed it with the white border already around it. That Epson, the Creative Print, I think it's called Creative Print, that app lets you do that, super easy. So let me measure this because I need, let me see, I probably cut that, so 4 1/4. My ruler's not long enough. So let's see. 4 1/4 by, oh, not quite 8 1/4. So I need to trim that down so it's 8 1/4. Well, actually I need to trim it down more. 4 1/4. I'm doing math in my head. And it's normally 5, so that's 3.75 difference in the width. And if I want it to be even, 0.75 in the height would be 7.5, I think, right? I just did some quick math there. 4 1/4 by 7.5. What I was trying to do, let's see if it worked, I'm not putting it in here, but I was trying to make it so that when I do add it, it will be, yes, it's even. So I have kind of an even border, right? Wherever I add it, I will have an even border. Same thing here, then this needs to be that same size. 4¼ by 7½, right? So 7½, I'm going to come in and, let's see, that's, I already trimmed a little bit of it. So let's do 3 and 2. Four and a quarter by 7½. Those should both be the same size. Yep, okay, good. So now, I could decide, do I want to just leave them this way, knowing that I will then adhere them to something, which is probably what I'm going to do, right? I'll leave them that way. Now, there's lots of kind of fun color going on here, right? I know that I need to do a little bit of journaling here. So, and this one I have not thought about at all, other than that I wanted to use those two things. Let's see. I have those letters are open. So if I wanted to, I could color those in. I could do a little bit of coloring in with my colored pencil again. I think what I might do, let me just try something here. Oh, no. Nope. Maybe those 3. So let's test something. I want to see what this would look like. If I want to come in and do just think out loud here. What happens if I like layer these little guys? One there. Like that. I like that. Okay. So I know I don't want to overlap them. I know I just need to figure out what colors I want to do. So what about this guy? Let's see. Orange. Maybe orange. Let's see. Ah, Terry, can we chat about the new line from Simple Stories that is for documenting these COVID times? So it is called Quarantined. Yes, let's chat about that. So, in fact, well, I've spent much time at Simple Stories lately. I think most of you know I worked there for 6 years. Anyhow, I happen to have this in front of me. Their winter catalog. So let's just take a quick look at that because Terry, I do have some plans. Oh wait, I guess if I use the table of contents. Quarantine, page 30. All right, this is the collection. Now, this is a very small collection, right? This is it. It basically is 6 papers and a 12 by 12 sticker. So I have to figure out how I will do something with this, but I will do something with it. I may do a really small kind of a coronavirus traveler's notebook kit. This is what I love about what they did with this collection. We are total squirreled now. But look at these pieces right here. These 2 papers, how fun are those? Like little cut aparts for use in a traveler's notebook. So I might do just a little kit that you could build on in a traveler's notebook. I'm not quite sure how I will do that yet. This one's a little bit harder, Terry, because normally what I do with Simple Stories products, normally I'll carry like a sticker tablet, and I've started carrying 6 by 8 pads. 12 by 12 papers, not something that I want to get into without like a kit, because 12 by 12 papers are a little bit harder to ship. And they're single sheets. Anyhow, I'll figure something out. We'll do something fun. I'll carry it in some way. That comes in October. I'm thinking out loud. That's dangerous. It comes out in October, so I will have something. So stay tuned. Ooh, I like those together. Okay, so here's something, you guys, that I want to point out, and I've talked about this a little bit before. When you have a roll of washi, sometimes it's really hard to tell what the washi looks like, and this is what I mean. So we have this, and let's say we look at this, right? Those look super dark, right? They look super, super, super dark. And originally I was staying away from that orange because I thought it was going to be like too bright and dark. But the reason why it's looking so dark, and the same thing for this one on top of it, is because it is layered on layered on layered. So you have all of the layers of all of the rolls, layers, whatever, of that washi underneath it that are making it look really dark. So when I look at it this way, I'm like, oh, I don't know. But when I get it on paper, it looks really, really good. Same thing for something like this. Looks super dark, but when I get it on paper, it really lightens up because I can see the white, that kind of tone on tone stripe coming through. Sometimes people will swatch their washi. And if you swatch your washi, then it's a lot easier. Just like we talk about swatching our ink or swatching our colored pencils or pens or whatever it is. If you swatch it, then you have a better feel for what something looks like. All right. So, that totally got sidetracked, but I'm more, you know me, I'm so more than happy to get sidetracked when we're talking about scrapbook product, memory keeping product, crafting product, whatever we want to call it. What did I do with my photo? Oh goodness, oh here it is. Hard to do memory keeping without a photo. Well, actually you can. You absolutely do not need a photo. You do not have to have a photo to do any of your memory keeping. You can completely do just words, just write, just journal, tell a story. And we've talked about this before. If you want to do memory keeping and you want a photo, but you don't have a photo, my dad and I the other day were talking about Knott's Berry Farm in Southern California. And when I was a little kid, we'd go to Knott's Berry Farm all the time. I have no photos of myself at Knott's Berry Farm, but I can go to Google and I can Google Knott's Berry Farm and I can find a ton of different photos, current photos, photos from a long time ago, probably photos that they put on their website or somewhere out there, or someone saved to the internet that I could go find. Now, I wouldn't want like that person's family photo, but I could find photos and save them to my phone and then print them off. So I would still be able to do some memory keeping about a memory, even though I didn't have the photo. I could still find a photo that would work. All right, so we're going to do this. We'll do the yellow first. And I think I probably want this to go over a little bit ways here. So I'm going to grab, actually I was going to grab some Scotch tape. I don't need to do that. I am going to grab a little bit of washi to temporarily hold these together. And I'm going to use this one because I had already kind of peeled it off the roll. So washi can be functional too. I turned it over. I put the washi there to hold that together so that when I turn it over, if I want my washi to span both sides, my little yellow there, now it will span both sides and it's together. Then if I need to, later I can just break that. Oh my heavens. Look what I did. Here I'm trying to be so smart. Let's try that way. Let's try that way. So those of you that are 12 by 12 12 by 12 scrapbookers, use scrapbook layouts 12 by 12. And you're doing a 2-page spread and you want to have things connected. You want to have things connected like I did there, but on a 12 by 12 double page spread. Do the same thing. You turn the pages over, use some washi, temporarily adhere it together like I'm doing here because I want it to line up. And then when I'm done, I can just come in and untape that. Pull the washi off. Really, what I should have, it's downstairs. I have this, well, never mind. A tool that might make it easier to do what I'm doing right now. That I would use magnets to hold it down. Okay, there we go. There's the yellow. And then we liked the pink next. Well, I liked the pink next. Sometimes pastel colors are just so happy like this, aren't they? They're kind of pastel, just bright and cheery. Yeesh. Okay. For whatever reason, I keep going higher on that side. Okay. And then my orange. Karen, you have a washi TN insert. Yes, that would be really good. Are those page printables linked to? Yes, Terry. So these are also from In a Creative Bubble. These are not. Okay. The orange may not work because I don't want to go to the edge of the paper. I don't want that. So it just may be those two. I have linked In a Creative Bubble in general. I will go back and try to figure out these specific ones. I think that these three, though, definitely this one and the one I did before, the walking, I think both of those came from the Traveler's Notebook or the coronavirus set, I think. All right, so there we have that. This will go back up here. I need to do a little bit of journaling, and it doesn't need to be a lot because I have already done a lot already about what we've been doing. So there's enough to do a little bit there. And let's see this. Let's come back to our colored pencils. There's not going to be a lot of product on here, and that's absolutely okay. Sometimes you are focusing more on what the story is. That's where I think, too, these little printables make life so easy. It takes a lot of the design work out for you, right? We don't have to focus so much on the design because a lot of it's done there for us already. Add a photo and some. So red, I'm going to go, I brought this up last week. I will write this down because there were some questions on my little scratch paper here. ROYGBIV, Roy G. Biv. That is red. Well, here. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. That is the color spectrum. I think that's what it's called. Rainbow. That's the rainbow order. That's nature. Nature puts things in that order in a rainbow. Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. If you are ever struggling with where to place different colors to kind of group together, that is a natural way to put things together. So if I wanted this to kind of be rainbowy right here, I could start with red. Now, red doesn't have to mean red. Red could mean pink, right? Because that is a shade of red. Jackie, they are both in the coronavirus NP set. What is NP? That In a Creative Bubble, but I just don't know what the NP set is. Thank you for sharing. Okay. So if I did this, if I did pink, this is where you guys swatching, right? Wouldn't it be nice if I had my swatching done? Red, orange, yellow, green. Oh, there's 8 letters. All right, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Maybe I'll do 2 shades of blue. Like a really light blue maybe, and then a little bit of a darker blue. Some of you guys did, so last Saturday when we did our colors of summer list prompt or list topic, so a couple of you sent me what you did. Oh my gosh, coolest ideas you guys had. So thank you so much for sending those. If you're doing that and you are posting on social media, tag me. So tag Lael by Mail or tag or hashtag Lael by Mail or tag Lael Concar so I can see it and then other people can see it too. Sometimes I can, if I think about it in time, I can snag it and like put it on my stories, my Insta stories or something. All right, there we go. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo. All right, what color is indigo? I've got two blues. Is indigo kind of like a dark blue? Or is indigo a purple? Indigo. I can't have three blues. Maybe I have three blues. We'll see. Yeah, not enough. Not enough of a variation there. Darn it. Why can't Stay Safe only have 7 letters instead of 8? Actually, maybe I'll do a... Okay, I'm totally thinking now, and I don't like the way that that's coming out at all. So, I think I need to stay more in these colors. Too many colors. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you feel it and sometimes you don't, right? It's kind of like Almond Joy's got nuts, mounds don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut and sometimes you don't, right? And I am not feeling it. So I need 8. So we're going to go back to this red, orange, yellow, and I'm going to try to find more in that little spectrum. So we'll see. So that could go there. That's kind of like a light orange. And then I know, you guys, totally boring. It's totally boring. That could maybe go there as a light pink. But you know what? This is what it is. It's playing, right? To me, it's playing. It's crafting. It's having fun. And I don't know. Now I'm totally confused because I don't know what I'm looking at. And now they're all out of order. Nope. Oh, heavens. See, why aren't these swatched? You're only going to hear me say that like 1,012 more times. Okay, not working. Not working. This is when you know that it is time to stop what you're doing when things stop working. So let's go ahead and add this. We'll go right there. There's a little bit of room. I know I need to add the date because someone reminded me of that. So this would be on the 22nd, 22. Sometimes you just have to walk away. You walk away from what you're working on and you let things percolate, right? Like the old coffee percolators. You let things percolate. And you might be in the shower and go, oh my gosh, I know exactly what I want to do. Or you might be, I don't know, on Instagram or Pinterest or something, and you see something and you go, oh my gosh, that's perfect. That would have worked exactly there. And then you get inspired by what you see. So, okay, we're going to do it. That goes there. All right. Put this back here. I am not going to do any outlining yet. I won't do any outlining because until I know, really until I know where this is going, and I think what might end up helping, I will probably look for some pattern paper to go behind this. So if I was to pull out, nothing in there. Let's see. I'm just going to pull out a couple of 12 by 12 pads here. Let's see if we have anything that I might like. And that would go, I'm going to make sure, oh, maybe. That's kind of fun. I don't know if you can see that. Uh-oh, are we there? Oh, that's weird. A little bit A little bit delayed. Okay, so Kathy, well, at least what I'm seeing. Kathy, that collection is called Quarantined from Simple Stories. I think it starts shipping in October to retailers. The date stamp, yes, is on my site. I have linked to that in the description of the video. All right. Yeah, no, not that. We won't get enough color there. So now we just play, right? We just look and see if there's something that we see that we like. The reason that I went over to a 12 by 12 pad is because I know I need to, basically I would need two 6 by 8 sheets in order to put something behind both of those. So I think we will go with that gingham. Get that out of the way. Okay. Bring this in here. I'm not giving up yet, but I'm pretty close. I am pretty close to giving up. Stuff is everywhere. I have been designing like a mad woman. Just ask Nick and Sam. Mad woman. They would tell you the mad woman part is probably especially true. There are certain times of year that get super busy for me when it comes to new kits, new project kits, new scrapbook kits, new traveler's notebook kits. September, August, September is always a really crazy time because normally I do a good amount of teaching in person September, October, November. Like I'm literally never home in September, October, November. And I had many things booked September, October, November. Because I usually book, I don't know, 9 to 12 months in advance with stores and events. And so I had lots booked. Well, now in-person things aren't happening for the most part, but they're going virtual. So I think I have 5 or 6 different scrapbook kits, scrapbook class kits that I am working on right now that at one time, which is crazy. So if my design abilities right now are clearly stretched. Anyhow, that's all good. So, and I never do this, but I think what I might do here, normally you see me do what I did here, where I leave a white border all the way around something. Good question, Terry. Where am I putting that page? I'll answer that in a second. So normally I leave a white border. So you'd have a white border here. And if I was doing another piece of pattern paper here, I'd leave a white border here. What I think I'm going to do instead, let me cut this now. I think what I'm going to do instead is adhere these pieces to, so they're both flush with the inside. So that when these go in a traveler's notebook, Terry, these will go into a generic traveler's notebook. This one. Just put it right here. Let's just make things easy. Okay, let's make things easy. So let's round this corner. And the outside corners. Oh, one thing I did, I just did it and I was thinking but not talking. So what I did, I made sure that those little patterns lined up. So where I had cut it, I wanted to make sure that it lined up. And that is not, that's not super important, but I wanted to do it. So Terry, well, right now I'm coming nowhere soon. Normally, I'm going to trim that down a little bit. Normally, usually once or twice a year, I go to Windsor, which is right next to Fort Collins. I was going to say Fort Wayne. Fort Collins. So I was scheduled there in April, and that did not happen. So I was, that is No-Co Crop Stop. I don't know if you're in that area or not, but No-Co Crop Stop, or maybe I even know you from there. No-Co Crop Stop or Memories Unlimited. But No. So right now, it's interesting. At this point, I would have already scheduled out quite a bit of 2021. And other than some virtual things, right now, it's just kind of in a holding pattern. I'm going to trim a little bit more of this. It's just kind of in a holding pattern for travel for next year because, or events or teaching at stores, because no one is quite sure yet what's going to happen. So the best way to keep up to date on that, if you go to my website, laelbymail.com, there is a, right up along the top, the menu bar up at the top, there is a, it says save the date. Or no, it says upcoming kits and classes. So that I keep updated all the time. So that is where you can go to see what new kits I have coming out, whether it's Traveler's Notebook, whether it's scrapbook kits, mini book kits, layout kits, or whatever, but it also has where I am teaching. So I keep that updated. As soon as I add something new, then it's always updated there. So if you get my emails, that is always at the top of the email too. You have that same little menu. Oh, heavens to Betsy. Adhesive is not my friend today. It is not my friend. Anyhow, that is the best way to, well, all the ways. There's quite a few different ways there to see where I am, where I'll be. This guy, I guarantee you, is going to run out on me too. It's just Murphy's Law, right? Don't forget the thumbs up. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. Yes, don't forget the thumbs up or the thumbs down because that happens too. I just say though, and here's just a little public service announcement. If you're watching a video or you're watching something and you don't particularly care for it, just move on. Just move on. You don't need to give it a thumbs down. Well, that's just a be kind, right? I think that's a be kind. So if you like what you're seeing, please give the video a thumbs up. If you don't like what you're seeing, just, turn it off. Vicky. So Vicky and I have been friends for years, and we always joke, and she jokes on her video. She says, I know I'm not for everyone, right? I know I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. The older we get, the less we care about those kind of things, right? All right, so here we go. This is going to go there, and this is going to go there. Now, I'm really glad I didn't go with that rainbow thing because I kind of like this thing that I'm going with. All right, so now we need to, here, and let's just right there in the center. So these two pieces will kind of meet in the center, kind of. All right, so this I want to make sure to get very close to the edge here if I can. Very, very close to the edge. Someone asked me, and I totally forgot about this. It just popped into my head. Somebody asked me many weeks ago on one of the videos, what if you are doing a memory keeping spread like this? Well, not a spread, but you only want to do one page and not 2 pages. So here's the thing. If you could easily make it 2 pages, by doing something very generic over here. Maybe you only have 1 photo, but you could make it very generic over here by putting a printable or something. Or you could just leave pattern paper here. So you could pattern paper and a couple stickers or something, maybe a 3x4 card or a 4x6 card that was pretty generic, and just put it there. Generally, when I'm doing my memory keeping, I generally, though, will do 2-page spreads in memory keeping because I feel like I need a little bit more room because this part of memory keeping to me is super important. This part, this blank space right here, right? The telling the story. For me, it's really important to tell the story. I mean, I enjoy the art. I enjoy playing with stickers and stamps and washi and things like that. But to me, just as important is telling the story. So that's where I generally will do 2-page spreads. So I have at least a little bit of room to write. But not everyone's a writer. Not everyone wants to write. And again, you do you. You don't have to write. All right, so here I'm just going to add that. that. Keep going. And this. So from here, I have no idea what I'm going to do. Okay. I have no idea. I need to kind of that's definitely a one I need to let percolate, because I'll do just a tiny bit of journaling here, but I need something over here, right? This is kind of plain. Now, if I wanted to leave it over here, I don't have to add anything. I mean, things can be as simple as I want them to be, or as not complicated. It's certainly not complicated, but involved. Now, I still have these stickers out from the Avenue. So, you know what? Let's look at this. Maybe, right? These could go. This kind of goes with all of that. Yeah, anyhow, I will just, you guys, this is probably one I could sit here and pull out different product, and because I'm in a very indecisive mood right now. So I am going to walk away. I'm going to set down the stickers and walk away, back away from the stickers. Okay, let's turn off the lights. I need to take a sip of iced tea very quickly. It's almost my magical number. What do you guys call that? Your angel number or something like that? We've talked about that a couple times before, and actually I have that down on my list of things, list of lists that we can do one day, are numbers. So I mentioned before, I have a couple of numbers that kind of seem to continue to pop up in my life. Hold on, let me flip the camera. 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, Carol. 1, 2, 3, 4 is my angel number. I just didn't know it was called angel number. Oh, look it, there's my paper. There's my paper storage. Well, some of my paper storage, let's be honest. That's not all of it. Hang on. Okay. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 comes up many times in my life. Sometimes you'll look at, oh, look it, and there's some sticker storage. Let's close those. Although they're pretty organized, so it's not too bad. It looks like I've been through a storm or something. Of all these little hairs that fly away. I think that's a getting old thing. Anyhow, that's why I can't look at the camera too much, because I get sidetracked. Oh yes, angel number. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is one of my, I guess you call it angel numbers. A lot of times I look at the clock, and that's what I see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 3 right now. So it was 1, 2, 3, 1 when I noticed that. And I don't know what they say about angel numbers, if there's someone in your life. I always think when I see 1, 2, 3, 4 that it's my grandma, that she is just sending me a little message saying, hey, I'm here, I love you. And that's my dad's mom. So I think that's what 1, 2, 3, 4 is. 2, I love 2, I love 22, I love all kinds of 2s. I don't know why, but who knows. So friends, that is the end of our little session for today. Next week, I have to start thinking on my calendar because I have some classes coming up, not next week. So next week we're good. Next week we will be back. We will be doing our listing. So I will on Friday-ish, it'll be Friday because we're going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday I'll be sending out a video. Rewind. On Friday, my friends, I'll be sending, I had a migraine this morning. I took one of my prescription migraine pills, and migraine's gone good, but it makes me a little loopy. So you have a little loopy mixed in with your regular Saturday Lael oddness. Next Friday, I will send out an email with a link to the 3 list topics. So we will be listing again next week. If you would like to know those topics ahead of time so you can kind of think about what you might want to include in your list, make sure you are subscribed to my emails. You can go to laelbymail.com and sign up for them there. I have also included a link to subscribe for those emails in the description of the video. You can also, if you're not following me on YouTube, you can subscribe and then turn on the little bell, and you will receive a notification when I have a new video. So next week we will be listing. Amazon is here. I don't know what it's delivered, but it's something good. Because it's here every day. Yeah, so next Saturday. We'll see you next Saturday at the regular time. If you are still hanging in there, if you haven't liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Very helpful. If you're chatting, thanks so much for chatting. I'm going to go back, and I know I missed a ton on the chat today. If you are watching the replay, welcome. Thank you. Goodbye. Go ahead and leave me a comment. Anything just your name, where you're from, anything like that. And I will see you lovely ladies next week for another one of our fun little crafting sessions, which I love because this is like the only time I get my personal crafting done, working in my lists and working in my traveler's notebooks. So crafting for me instead of crafting for my business. So thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to do that every week. All right, friends, have a safe weekend, have a safe week, and I will see you next Saturday. Okay, goodbye. How can you see it? Merrily, it usually comes maybe I think about an hour after. It has to kind of go through its whole process. So it has to, whatever it does, render or whatever. So you usually should be able to see it, I think, in about an hour, depending on how long the video is. So if I missed your question, go ahead when the video is over. Leave a comment in not the chat part of the video, but leave it in the comments part of the video, and then I will make sure to see your question because I get notified. All right, guys. Take care. Oh yeah, perfect. So Carol just said you can rewind. So, and I think it's Marilee, I'm not sure. Just hit rewind and it should let you rewind all the way to the beginning if you don't want to wait. All right, friends, take care. Goodbye.